I'm Susan, and this is the Children's Corner. Today we're going to talk about piping. You've got your bias made, and now you're going to stitch it on to your cord. And this is called baby cord. We sell it at the Children's Corner, and many other sewing shops do as well. And you're going to take your cord and wrap the bias around the cord. Before we go any further, let me show you the foot I'm using. This is called a 5-groove Pintuck foot, but it works perfect for stitching bias or stitching cording. So I'm going to put that on my machine, and like I showed you, we're going to wrap the bias around the cord. And I showed you that there were 5 grooves. We're going to put the cord and the bias in the second groove from the left. And it's really easier if you don't try to start at the very end, but just put it in there and lower your presser foot and make sure that the cord is in that groove. And you can usually feel it with your fingernail right there. And the next thing you most likely will need to do is move your needle position toward the left. For mine, I believe I need to move it twice, but that will be determined by each individual machine. Once you get started, it pretty much guides itself. If you will just keep your fingernails pushing against the cord that's inside the fabric, you'll have a nice tight strip of piping. You can also buy piping pre-made, but sometimes you just need your piping to be the same fabric that you're sewing with. Piping usually comes in solid colors, ginghams, and microchecks. Okay. Now, most Children's Corner patterns have a 1/4-inch seam allowance. So if we were going to use this for a collar, we would need to trim down the seam allowance on the piping to a 1/4 inch. So we have a tool called the piping tool, and it's by 10 Sisters. And it's a great tool to use to be able to trim precisely. It does come with instructions. One of the things that's nice about it is that there are different grooves. There's a groove for 1/4 inch seam allowance, 1/2 inch, and then on the other side for 5/8 and 3/8, which are probably all the size seam allowances you will ever need. So we are going to trim it down to a 1/4 inch. So you just put your piping in that groove. And honestly, it's a little easier if you have a long strip of piping instead of just the short one like I've got. So we're going to give it a try. You can also just use your scissors, and if you're good at eyeballing things like 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch, then you can just do that. I think that got it. And it just trims off that little bit. So now you're ready to use your piping for a collar or a cuff on a puff sleeve. There, it did not cut. And that's all.